All right, tonight there was a rocket attack on the Al-Assad base in Iraq. This base has both American and Allied forces, training the whole 9 yards. This was a direct attack. There are Americans that are injured. It's too early to tell what. They're still doing a damage assessment. If we remember back just a couple of weeks, months, we had Benjamin Netanyahu grace the Congress of the United States as he's mass unaliving women, children, and an entire culture full of people in Gaza, as of course a response to the tragedy of a Hamas attack killing 1,800 people on October 7th. The non-stop barrage still continues to today. It's only been a year and a half, but this was basically accentuated by two targeted assassinations of leaders of both Hamas and Hezbollah, which in turn pissed off Iran, who's funding both of them, which in turn also pissed off Russia, who's funding everybody underneath. And the Americans, the Republicans mainly, are funding Israel in their mass retaliation, trying to wipe out an entire culture in Gaza because the Trumps have development plans as soon as everything's cleaned up. Well, today, 2 rockets were fired into an American air base, injuring Americans. These attacks are going to continue. Russia has actually vowed to take it out on the United States and all of our allies. Think about this. Russia, China, North Korea have all teamed up and have all vowed to take it out on the United States. All because the Republican Congress and the Republicans in general will not put any type of guardrails on money being sent to Benjamin Netanyahu genocide himself. So after he left the halls of Congress, he went directly to his best buddy, the instigator of all, Cheeto von Schitzenpants' home, otherwise known as Mar-a-Lago. And on that very same day, one of these assassinations were carried out. This is what's going on right now because of that. We need to pay attention. There's a very, very distinct thread going through all of this, considering we have going all the way back to the day after James Comey was fired. We had 2 of the most powerful Russian spies in the Oval Office greeting Donald J. Trump, all smiles, more smiles than we have seen him greeting any member of the United States government. Not quite as big a smiles as when he met his boyfriend Kim Jong-un, or President Xi over dinner when he shared military secrets of our allies. But those guys that were in the Oval Office the day after James Comey was fired, just about a half a day after James Comey was fired, if you're going to get specific, the only thing that was allowed in that room against the constitutional rules of the United States of America was Russian state TV. No National Archive note takers or anything that's actually mandated by the Constitution of the United States. And the only story that came out on Russian state TV was how Donald Trump very, very proudly gave over Israelis' military secrets. Now, let's draw a little line through this and make some assumptions, shall we? Because if by chance that was true, which you never know, it was Russian state TV, we would have loved to have someone in the room to hear it ourselves, but we couldn't because Donald Trump wouldn't allow anybody else to be in there except, his Russian buddies that he's never met before. And it has nothing to do with ever, I swear, he promises. Anywho, so we have this supposed transfer of secrets having to do with the dome that's impenetrable because we helped build it. And these secrets go into Russian people. And not so distant future, Hamas being fed by Iran, being supported by Russia, You know Iran, you remember them. They used to have this really neat little nuclear pact with everyone else. They got inspected all the time to make sure they weren't building nuclear weapons. And see, that little pact was actually destroyed by Mr. Donald J. Trump. You know, the same guy who was supposed to give secrets of Israel to the Russians that were over there the day after James Comey got fired. Well, that Iran. Now, they were supposed to be on lockdown, so they never had any access to anything close to anything that would be able to build nuclear weapons. Until Donald Trump got rid of that deal. Since then, guess what they've been doing? Besides supporting Hamas, Hezbollah, and building up all the terrorists in the area, they've been building nuclear weapons. And a couple of weeks ago, Vladimir Putin bragged about landing in Tehran, you know, right after the leader was killed of one of those, you know, I think it was Hezbollah, I don't know, maybe Hamas. What's the difference? Anyway, they're Russian-supported Iran middleman, you know. But now, Russia very proudly dropped their biggest military fighter plane, landed in Tehran to deliver missing pieces of nuclear weapons. So you got Uncle Vladdy, you got Iran, and you got Israel. And you've got future business developments of real estate all up and down what is now Gaza, but soon to be Trump beachfront property. What the hell draws all those people together? I don't know. I'm going to need a Republican to explain it to me. You freaking kidding me, people? Russia teaming up with North Korea, building weapons that are being dropped in Ukraine, who also, by the way, had their, you know, military secrets sold to supposedly Russia by the one and only Cheeto von Schitzenpants. So selling secrets to Israel, Israel gets attacked. Selling secrets to Ukraine, Ukraine gets attacked. Russia now wants Alaska, so Russia and China are now patrolling with their warships, warplanes, up and down Alaska's coast. Interesting. I can't figure out the thread. Oh, yeah. Donald J. Trump's best buddy, Vladimir Putin, Little Kim, President Xi. And don't forget, we've got Hungary. We've got the other dictators cycling through Mar-a-Lago, Benjamin Netanyahu, all of them, right into Donald Trump's home. And every single one of these countries right now are coming after the United States of America. And he's trying to be elected back into office. What part of any of that is any patriot okay with? What part of any of that are the Republicans that are so defending the Constitution of the United States and America first? Bugger. What part of any of that, even if you don't want to believe any of it's true, even if it's just weird coincidences over on top of blah, 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 even if you don't think it's true, you know, like those pesky, the Biden DOJ court findings from 20 years ago that he's been doing for 30 years, but they're not true either because he said so. He promises. And you believe him. He's being brought up on charges because he's freaking guilty. All these things that happened surrounding him, Russia, Iran, Hamas, Hezbollah, Benjamin Netanyahu being at his house while he assassinated the leaders of these things that are causing the war right now. Those two jobs escalated Russia, China, North Korea, Saudi Arabia, Hamas, Hezbollah, everybody. When Benji was at Donnie's house. Are you freaking kidding me? You're not drawing the line. You're not putting it together. But that Biden crime family, because Trump also said so. We need to wake up. We need to be diligent. We need to get educated. More importantly, we need to be kind. We are all in this together. We need to cut this bullshit right now before it's too late.